Time for divine shot, KJ events. This real talks the brand. You understand how we do, my man. I'm on that Friday night Knicks shit, dripping in Knicks shit. Up in the world most famous arena with the click. That's the conglomerate. The Knicks real talk, the real prominent. I'm a bit like the Omicron variant, dominant. Paying homage to the cat in the chat. That's where it's at. Cause I'm hearing that. You don't care for how early we straight back. We interact with the mob, the gods. Up in the pod, the squad, the facade. My entourage be on the job, my energy. Feeling tripping in tempo as they cook my game plan. That my brand for loot and pursuit. Going hard like the New York City gritty committee. Cause that's the things we know is pretty, but we all stay giddy. And we embrace the fan base, hit the link, Anthony Mace. We trace the logo when there's space that appear like square space. Staring down on the Chase Bridge, look at that Knicks City drip. The city decks is on the court, looking pretty legit. I stay true to the orange and blue. I thought you knew for him a few bars to shine like stars divine on Mount Mars. Knicks real talk. Here we go, let's go.
Knicks real talk right here. I'm representing
Knicks real talk.
right here.
Here we go, let's go.
We here in the building.
Knicks real talk.
Let's get it.
Here we go, let's go.
Yeah, for real. Yes, sir.
Knicks real talk.
We here.
Here we go,
in the
let's go.
building. Knicks real talk. Let's get it. Let's get it. Yeah, for real. Yes, sir.
Let's get it. Salute. What's good, everybody, man? Knicks real talk. Let's get it. We in the building, man. About to get it popping, man. Tonight, man. I got my man Shop Powers in the building with me tonight. Shop Powers, what's good?
Salute to you, Divine. Salute to the chat. Let's get it.
Yeah, real talk, man. We're gonna get here talk for the Knicks tonight, man. We're gonna talk about who's running with Brunson. You know what I mean? One of the segments tonight, who's running with JALEN Brunson? Who's gonna be that two guard? And the Knicks lineup is clearly gonna share the backcourt with JALEN Brunson this season. So we got a couple like 4 candidates we're gonna talk about and see if they're gonna be the ones who's gonna get in there with JALEN Brunson and make that dynamic duel in the backcourt. Then we're gonna talk about the roster. Obviously, the roster's not complete, so we're gonna see what it's gonna do because according to information we got today, according to Pershams Karana and Steve Jones, the Knicks and the Utah Jazz have re-engaged conversations about Donovan Mitchell as of today with the report that we get out there. So we're gonna talk about that later on down the line, man. And we also get into the 2022-2023 schedule that just came out. Not the full schedule, but we got some games that we could talk about, preseason games. Obviously, the Knicks going to be starting on October 19th in Memphis, and they also got Dallas, man. So, and they got Philadelphia on Christmas Day. So we're going to get into all that, man. But, you know, other than that, man, it feels good to be in the building once again. Salute to the chat. That's where it's at, man. Salute to my man, G-Man78, and everybody else, man. Appreciate y'all coming in tonight, man. I know everybody out there got it popping tonight, but y'all ain't here with Knicks Real Talk, man. So, salute to everybody, man. KJ, wherever you at, salute to my brother. I know you out there on the grind. Salute to Fabian, just popped in the building. But yeah, man, shout out to season starting to get close, brother. You know, like I said, it's all about another month away from training camp and all that. So, you know, the time is moving on, and we ready to get it rolling.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting year this year. And now that the trade talk is back up and popping with about Donovan Mitchell, you know, it's things to be talked about. You know, if we move on with the team that we have, or if we do this trade with Danny Ainge and acquire Mitchell and give up some young guys. So, you know, it's something to talk about, and I'm here to talk with you, Divine.
Yeah, real talk, man. I know I'm interested to see, man. We know that JALEN Brunson got the point guard spot locked down. Excuse me. I think we got an Echo Shot Powers. We got he got the point guard spot locked down this year for the Knicks. Now we got these shooting guards who are also going to be in the mix to take over that reign at the two guard spot. So I know I definitely want to get into that. Like, it's really going to be interesting with the guys that we have available at that two guard spot. And I really want to see which one of the guys or which way the Knicks organization is going to go for this to be next to JALEN Brunson. I mean, you know what I mean? So I'm really interested about it. You know what I mean? You know, just to talk about the guy that we're talking about, I mean, you know, that's going to also be in that mix real quick. You know, we're talking about R.J. Barrett, Emmanuel Quickley, Quentin Grimes, and Evan Fournier. You know, them pretty much the 4 shooting guard that might be available to play with JALEN Brunson this year. So I really see what's interesting what's going to be which one of these guys is pretty much going to take the reign. I mean, is R.J. Barrett going to stay at the 3 spot? Is Quentin Grimes going to get there? What they're going to do with Evan Fournier? He's going to start with JALEN Brunson. So you got either one of these 4 guys that be interested in how the Knicks do this thing, Sharp Howard. And I really truly want to see what's going to become of all this stuff when they get into the training camp or preseason, who's going to come out of here at the Knicks #1 shooting guard starting in that lineup for sure.
we got some decisions that we have to make, and it may have to include one or two of those guys in that picture that you just showed, and it's just some things that we got to do to see. I believe Brunson right now the starting lineup that I would like to see would and I'm throwing it out there because I just think it would be a exciting lineup, but with Brunson, RJ, and Cam Reddish with Mitchell Robinson and Julius Randle. And I'm also down to see Brunson, Grimes, RJ, Randle, and Mitchell as well. Both of those teams would be exciting teams to start the year off with, and to have a following lineup. Our second unit would be a very strong lineup. No matter if we switch IQ, Reddish or Grimes, but the big thing still is that's lingering in the air is Evan Fournier. What we're going to do with Evan Fournier. So I'm down for. I fell off from being with the trade of Donovan Mitchell, but I'm happy that it's back going on just to see what they want and what we can offer.
Yeah, real talk. For me, man, that two guard spot right now, it was up to me. I pretty much feel the way you feel. With the Cam Reddish thing, but RJ Barrett, you get a big guard in the back there with him. You get a big guard, 6'7", to go with Jalen Brunson, give you a little bit more defense back there, a little bit more size and things of that nature. So I think that's a plus to have a guy back there to help you control that game in the backcourt with RJ Barrett, because he's coming off a pretty phenomenal season last year, and maybe not from a shooting standpoint, but percentage wise, but his all around game, man, it really took off next year, and I think he's looking to do big things. Actually, they got a clip of him on Twitter. He's out in the gym getting down. I've seen some of that, man. He looked better, looking decent, working on the mid range and all that stuff. But I like what he brings to the table, because that was his natural position coming into to the NBA shot powers. And that year he played the two guard. The Knicks got to the playoffs. Averaged 17 a game that year. 17-6 a game and all that, man. So, for me, with Jalen Brunson 16, and if you look at what RJ Barrett could do with the ball, I think it's pretty much a no-brainer. And if you kind of get down and, look at the stats, and there go right there, you can't take away that 20 points a game last year. That was pretty huge for him to come into the season 14 in the first year, 17, 20. And I think the best is yet to come. He stayed relative healthy. And throughout the course of his career, and because his rookie year, obviously that was a shortened season. But he played all 72 games that year before, until last year he had a little injury at the end of the season, stepping on ankles and things of that nature. But you look at his numbers though last year. The kid, other than shot 40% from the floor compared to the year before, 44%. He did take three almost like 6 field goals. 3-point attempts. He made 2 of them. He shot 34, but that's kind of low compared to the year before. He shot 40%, but his rebounders numbers he shot 71% from the foul line, which he shot 74 a year before. So you love to see him get back at that 74 or better. But you can't take away the almost the 6 rebounds, 3 assists. The kid can play defense. So that was a good thing right there. And and that 20 points a game is nothing to sneeze at. So I like what he brings to the table, and that's one of the guys shot powers where I thought that, if the Knicks did have to do anything and he's still there, you can always move him back to the 2-guard spot for the Knicks and have him play and develop and get ready to go into that 4th year in a contract year, looking to do some big things. I think I can see RJ Barrett holding down 20-something points a game for the Knicks in that 2-guard spot. That was the case.
Yeah, it is. I think it's me. I'm gonna come in and come back, Devon. Sorry.
Yeah, salute me, guys. We have a little technical difficulty, but we'll straighten it out. Salute to the chat. Julian, my man, salute to you, Julian. Appreciate you coming in. Sexy Lopez, Fabian, everything, man. Like I said, I think RJ Barrett will be well at that 2-guard spot, back at his natural position. Yeah, and I agree with you, Julian, man. That brother developed at mid-range. Believe it or not, Julian, he was working on that. I was watching something on Twitter earlier today. He was in the gym in I think he was in Washington somewhere, but he was working on a mid-range game, man. He looked pretty decent, so he's one of them guys that we never have to worry about, because he's always a worker. He's always in the gym. He's always trying to improve and get better. So, to me, Shot Power, and I give it back to you in a few, to see him come from his rookie year, 14 points a game, to 17 points a game, to 20 points a game. And last year, if we would have had a better percentage shooting the ball overall, RJ Power would have cracked 25. You know what I mean? Just all around free throws and 3-point percentage would have stayed the way it was the year before, he would have had a pretty decent year last year. So I mean, he had a decent year just far as, you know, like I said, not from a percentage standpoint, but he was playing some of the bigger small forwards in the league. You know, coming to his first year playing a small forward, he was going up against Butler, LeBron, and all the small forwards in the league. Man, he handled himself pretty well. So I'm excited to see, you know, what he's going to do this year. But I have no problem with him going back there with Jalen Brunson. That's, you know, for me, I think that'll make sense unless you go the other way. But I wouldn't have a problem with it whatsoever.
Yeah, him going back to the 2 or staying at the 3 is no problem with me, depending on who we have on the team. So I Brunson makes a big part of what RJ is going to be this year too. I think the major thing RJ has to do this year is hit free throws.
Mm-hmm.
If RJ can bring his free throw percentage up to, you know, maybe the low 80s or something like that, he's easily 24 points a night. You know, he's easily 24 points a night, you know. And I hear that he's out there and he's trying to develop a mid-range game. If he gets a mid-range game to take away from some of the 3-pointers that he doesn't have to shoot, and he can still go downhill, and if you put him at the 2 position, you know, there's so many things that, you know, could just change his whole aspect for this whole, I mean, his outlook for this whole season, man, you know. And I hope that he comes in and he can score low 80s in the free throw, at the free throw, and develop a mid-range game. That would propel him into the All-Star this year.
Yeah, real talk. This is the answer. I agree with you 100% on everything too, Shot. That was a good point there. But for me, Julian, I don't know if he stunned his growth. That would be interesting because you got a lot of guys who need the ball. You got Randall, RJ, Donovan Mitchell, and Jalen Brunson. They all need the ball in their hand. I don't know if he stunts his growth. I just think it might take away. I think they're gonna have to distribute the ball amongst the team more because I think compared to Fournier, Donovan Mitchell gonna have the ball way more than Fournier will, obviously. Because he's like Fournier's like a catch and shoot type of dude per se. So, but I do think that because Donovan Mitchell will get you 5 assists, 6 assists a game, I think his facilitating skills is cool. So it's gonna be really interesting. Tom Thibodeau gonna have a lot to work with that, Julian. Knowing that he got all them guys who can, but if they're unselfish ball players, I think it all could work itself out. That remains to be seen. But you got a good point there because I think if he come there, it's gonna be real interesting. If that happened with the RJ at the 2, not to get off segment, but to see what he's gonna do if Donovan Mitchell come in, because obviously RJ Barrett stays at the 3. You know what I mean? Obviously, if that happens, so we get into Donovan Mitchell down later on in the segment. But if that's one of the guards at the 2 guard spot, that I think that it's a win-win for the Knicks no matter what. And the next guy to me, that I think also can play that role there, is Quentin Grimes real quick. And for that, salute to my brother Cash Out James. Cash Out, salute. Quentin Grimes is another candidate there who can play that 2 guard spot for New York Knicks. Rookie year, 46 games played. Obviously, at the end of the year, he caught a little injury, but obviously we know what he do good. His defense is stellar. Shot the 3 ball at 38% last year. That's big time. Good defender, real good defender, underrated playmaker. I think the foul tech for a guy who shoot that good shot power 68%, he definitely got to get that up to the 80s. You know what I mean? Because that guy shoot that 3 ball too good to be shooting 68% from the foul line. But overall, though, I think this year you're going to get to see the real. If he do anything like he did in summer league, I think he's going to be pretty impressive for the Knicks, man. So he's another one of them guys that you will see in the backcourt with Jalen Brunson, which would be a good thing as well because he's a good defender. He's a good sniper. You know what I mean? So Jalen Brunson can still get his penetration on, kick to him in that 3 open area, man, and knock that 3 ball down, and he can put the ball on the floor. So he's another option to me that's either whether it's RJ or him, I don't even have a problem with for the Knicks. If he was a 2 guard, if Donovan Mitchell don't come here and we wind up with the roster we have, I definitely can see Quentin Grimes, Shaw Powers stepping into that role and being that starting point guard in his second year because of his defensive prowess and what he could do with the basketball.
Oh, it's no question that if we don't have Spider here and it's Brunson, I believe also that Quentin Grimes is a great shooting guard, man. I think he'd be if it was up to me, if it's up to Quentin Grimes or Evan Fournier, as much as Evan Fournier can shoot the shot, and I do believe with Brunson on the court, Fournier may have easier shots where he can shoot. I think Fournier, I mean, with Brunson driving, Fournier will have easier shots, but I believe the same shots that Evan Fournier shoots, I believe Grimes can shoot the same shots from the same corner, from the same sideline at the top of the key. And what you get more from Evan Fournier is the defensive presence that Grimes brings to the game. He's going to be gritty, he's going to be in your face, and he's going to play that defense. And he could run. He showed that in the summer league. He could run, he could distribute. He's a fantastic passer, can grab rebounds. So he does things that Evan Fournier just doesn't do. And grab rebounds, and he can push the pace. Get assists. You know what I mean? So I believe Grimes is. I see why the Knicks do not want to trade this guy Grimes, because I believe he's going to be that shining light in that darkness when we come down to 42 games into the season and stuff like that. There'll be he's going to have some highlight plays this year and some closeout big shots this year, I believe.
Yeah, real talk, man. Great analogy. I second that as well, man. Because for me, Quentin Grimes he's that one guy that the Knicks really can use at that two guard spot. I mean, he fits that two guard so well because, like I said, he could play on a perimeter, but he had the ability to take it to the hole as well. So, like when RJ going downhill, Jalen Brunson going downhill, Jalen Brunson can get that ball to my man in his spots. RJ know where Grimes like the ball at. And I think his stroke is unbelievable. I think that dude can shoot the ball with the best of them. And I do think that he's gonna play a major part in this thing. So it's gonna be interesting to see what happens going into training camp, because I do think, believe it or not, even though we say Fournier, I think it's his job to lose at the two guard spot. I think Quentin Grimes comes in there and pretty much takes that two guard spot. If you don't get Donovan Mitchell, I think Quentin Grimes come in there in training camp, because how good he can lock poke. Think about even when Evan Fournier in training camp going up against this dude. You know what I mean? He's gonna make it hard on Fournier. Now Fournier gonna have to make it hard on him, or somebody gonna be out of position. You know what I mean? Because it's gonna be competition. So I like what he brings to the table. I like his tenacity on the defense end. I like his ball handling skills. Underrated passer, man. The kid got skills, man. He impressed me with some of the stuff he do. He like real quick off his feet. He just got it going on, man. And like I said, he get up in your grill, man. And which what our two guards wasn't doing this year. It wasn't getting up in Cat's grill. Well, this cat gets up in your grill. And he definitely could play with the best of them. So I think that's another good position for the Knicks to have, that they don't have to worry about it, that two guard spot. I think, whether it's him or Fournier or RJ, I do think that or Quickley, and I do think that the Knicks going to be all right there. But I do think Grimes is going to be that player. I just hope we don't lose him, man. I really I think him and Cam Reddish, to me, going to have a breakout year for the Knicks. You know what I mean? So I really don't want to see them two guys go, but business is business. But he's another two guard in the Knicks system that I'm really happy with, man. I'm looking forward to him to see what he do this year if he's still here.
And another thing, alongside with what you said, Divine, to carry out off of what you said, Grimes don't need the ball. He's a guy that doesn't need the ball. Now, with like I said, I like Reddish. I think if we keep Reddish, I think Reddish would start. I want him to start. I don't think he would start, but Reddish needs the ball. And with Reddish needing the ball, RJ needing the ball, and Randall needing the ball, that's a lot of people that need the ball on the court at one time.
Facts.
But if you look at Grimes really doesn't need the ball. He moves his man, because you have to play defense on him because he's a shooter. So it's not like people could lag off of Quentin Grimes, or you're going to get a shot in your eye. You know what I mean? You lag off of, you get Brunson and he's coming down, and you try to double team with Grimes' man. Brunson's going to try to get it to Grimes, and I'm trying to say six times out of 10, I think Grimes is going to shoot that shot and he's going to hit it. So I see Grimes this year having multiple games of more than 5 3-pointers a game. I think he's going to be one of those guys that you know, when we talk about draft picks, and where we drafting them at, and why we didn't make any draft picks this year. This is the reason why we didn't make the picks this year, because of a guy like this that's developing and he's slowly coming into his own and stuff like that. So, and this is another reason why I'm kind of with not making the trade. But then again, it all depends on who we put into the trade package. And I don't think Grimes is one of the guys that goes in the trade package. And I hate to say it out loud, I don't think Reddish goes in the package either. So as we get a little longer into this conversation, I'll say some things that I think would probably could facilitate this trade and make this trade easy.
Yeah, real talk. Yo, salute to the chat, man. Salute to Julian, my man. Keep feeding that info, man. We appreciate you. Sexy Lopez, appreciate you, my man. Kevin Middleton, my man. Cav, salute. Cash out, everybody, man. Knicks real talk. Let's get it. Divine Shaw Powers. We talking the Knicks 2-guard situation this year. Who gonna run with Brunson? Who running with Brunson? And right now, we got multiple guys we could choose from. They all good candidates. They all got skill. Like we said, R.J. Barrett. We know what he could do at the 2-guard spot. And with the year we expected him to have, Quentin Grimes. Like I said, that's one of my sleepers. I think Quentin Grimes breaks out, and if he's in that backcourt, I would love it. I just think that out of all them guys we talking about, I think he fits Jalen Brunson the best. Quentin Grimes, whether he got to show improvement in training camp to be able to be that 2-guard, but I think he fits the best because of his shooting potential. His shooting, he gonna shoot close to 40 regardless, and I think his defense is impeccable right now at this young stage of his career for what we've seen in the first year. And if the Knicks play any way they play in summer league with that defense tenacity, if they bring that to the squad this year and to the NBA team this year, Knicks gonna be a pretty good team if Quentin Grimes in that backcourt D'ing down helping Jalen Brunson. Because and I'm really excited to see that. And my next man, I think he's another candidate that I'm really fond of, and I think he also can get it popping this year. Canal salute. But I do think the young man right here, Emmanuel Quickley, his maturation has been impressive to me. I know a lot of people used to give Quickley a hard time, but shout out, I like what this man did for 2 years. He's been in the league. He stayed consistent. 11 points a game, consistent. Played just about 78 games last year out of 82. And the year before that, he played 64. Only he ain't missed so many. The cat, one year before that, he shot 38% from the 3-point. He only shot 34 last year, but everybody had a good year the year before. For all the Knicks did. I don't know what happened last year. It might be the chemistry, but he's shooting 36.5, 3.4 his career, so he right around league average. But we know he can shoot better than that, and I think that comes with the practice and putting in work. The cat gets you rebounds. The cat gets you assists. He's a good defender nowadays. And I like what Emmanuel Quickley brings to the table, man. 11 points in only 19 and 23 minutes. This year, what I like about him, though, Shot Power, all his numbers went up per se because he got more minutes. If you look at his minutes in his rookie year and his minutes this year, he had 1,200 minutes in his rookie year. He had 1,800 this year. And he had more points this year because he had more minutes. He had more rebounds. He almost like 882 points last year, 731 in his rookie year. That's almost 150 something more points. He had 137 rebounds in his rookie year. He had 247 in last year, and that's way up. He had 127 assists in his rookie year. He had 275 last year. So you see that he's about putting in work and getting better. And him and Obi Toppin had a good campaign last year. And here's another key stat. Look at his plus. Anytime Emmanuel Quickley's on the floor for the New York Knicks, they always in the plus. Look at his plus for his career. Plus 182, plus 264. His career, the total, plus 466. So when he's on the floor, he affects the Knicks in a good way. And I think, his game this year is pretty impressive, man. And I'm liking what I'm saying for Emmanuel Quickley, Shot Powers. And he's another cat going to come into training camp pretty hungry, looking to go in there and battle for a spot. And I think it's going to be pretty impressive because I like what he brings to the table and the way he plays basketball for sure.
Yeah, he is. I don't know how to say this because the next part of what I'm going to say later on, IQ is a baller and he got dog in him. He's a baller and he got dog in him, and he's got bigger. And you see how has performed in these off pro league games in the summer, and he's a sponge, man. Everything that you put out there for him to learn, he has picked up. He has become a better defender. He has, made a better effort to make it drives to the hole. He has elevated his game from trying to do so much of the flop foul into a more of a brush off foul that he gets a lot now. So he has he is definitely. I seen him in the summer league, and he was shooting the ball like I wanted to see him. Like almost every shot he shot was a 3-pointer. So he is one guy that I would like to see here this year coming up, man. And he is one of our guys that we brought home here, man. And I think he really wants to stay here.
Yeah, real talk. You know what? I love Emmanuel Quickley's game. Maryland raised, got that East Coast swag in him, and he got that swag for the Mecca too, bro. Emmanuel Quickley to me fits New York City. You know what I mean? Because he got like you say, he got that dog in him. And he got the swag when he on the court. He plays. He loved having fun when he play. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. If you ever look at Quickley when Quickley playing in the Garden, Emmanuel Quickley likes to have fun, but also get his work in. You know what I mean? He get it done. But he like to entertain, man, and you got to be able to entertain when you're on Broadway. You know what I mean? And I think he does that, and I like what he did on a defense end last year, picking up from full court. You know what I mean? And he had some good games, man. So second half of the season, Emmanuel Quickley numbers was impressive for the Knicks last year. After the All-Star break, he was really doing around 16 a game, something of that nature. He was really doing his thing, man. Salute my man, Kevin Taylor. Kevin, salute my brother. He really had a good year last year, man. So I'm looking forward to take another step. That's why it's crazy right now with all this trade talk going on, because you're like, man, some of these guys you just don't want to see gone. And my man Canal put up a good one like Brunson, Mitchell, RJ, Obi, and Robinson. I'm like, whoa, to me that's bananas. You know what I mean? So it could go either way, man, with this thing, man, whether we keep these guys or not. But IQ, he done grown on me. Obi growed on me. Cam, Grind, all of them grown on me. But at the same time, Donovan Mitchell was Donovan Mitchell. So we're gonna get into that later as well. But for us, man, in that 2-guard spot in New York so far, I think you got a good 3 pick from 3 of them so far. RJ, Quentin Grimes and Emmanuel Quickley. And then obviously, we got Fournier coming up. And so I think we're pretty good there at the 2-guard spot, no matter what happens. I think we got guys who can hold it down, and like I said, but also I would like to see things kind of move in another direction. Best will be going after D Mitchell, because there's not, that think about this here. D Mitchell and Brunson is a hell of a backcourt. It might not be the tallest backcourt, but it's a backcourt who got game though. You know what I mean? Both of them boys got game. They can really get down with the basketball, so I'm good either way. And and like I said, and to me, Evan Fournier. He was that dude, man. I ain't gonna get it wrong. He had a tough beginning of the season, but the second half at the All-Star break, he picked it up. He picked it up and everything like that, and he did have a pretty good, decent second half of the season. But at the same time, his numbers was kind of, for me, was tough, because if you look at what he did last year, for the Knicks anyway. He had a pretty tough season last year, man. He shot the ball from 3 pretty well. He shot around 40% for the Knicks last year. He had 38% from the 3-point line. But the field goal percentage was only 41% from the 2-point range. But the thing that got me, guys, ladies and gents, for somebody to shoot the 3-ball that good, he only shot 70%. Yeah. That's what them RJ numbers. We claim that we complain about RJ not shooting that. That was RJ number from the foul tech. You know what I mean? Only 7% for somebody who can shoot the ball that pretty good deep. And then another concern I had for the New York Knicks for me was this right here. The 2-guard spot, you got 2 assists, 2 rebounds. Well, 3 basically. 3 rebounds and 2 assists a game from the 2-guard spot. You know what I mean? I thought I wanted to see a little bit more facilitating from Evan Fournier and a little bit more rebounding. But I get he is who he is. He's been in the league almost 9, going on his 10th year. So obviously he's not super strong or athletic. But, for the Knicks last year, he did pretty decent, man. But I do think that we can get it. I think we're going to have to, because if you're going in the Donovan Mitchell direction, Shaw Powers, that Evan Fournier could be kind of obsolete. You know what I mean, when it comes to that thing, because I do think that it's going to have to be addition by subtraction. So who knows? I don't know what they're going to do there, but I would like to see they make a move one way or the other to get this guy to the bench or get him off the team for some other guys who flourish. And that's pretty much where I'm at with Evan Fournier.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, Divine. I the only if all right in the event that we don't get Donovan Mitchell and we start have a starting lineup of uh Brunson, Grimes, and RJ. The second unit is going to have a super duper log jam. You know, we're going to have to look at um, maybe sitting roles so IQ can start, you know, and then have Evan Fournier and Cam Reddish with Obi Toppin and Isaiah. You know, that second unit team would work pretty well together, I believe. But the what we will have to do is actually, I mean, essentially bench roles. You know, he'll be really like a situational player. You know, so that would be something that we would have to take into consideration. You know,
Mhm.
because if not, and we run with roles, then you know who's coming off that bench as the shooting guard? Is it going to be Evan Fournier or IQ? You know, if we go Rose, IQ, uh, Reddish, Obi Toppin, and Hardestein, then Fournier is Fournier going to be a situational player? Is that the guy that you're going to really want to sit on the bench and come in, you know, in spot minutes and you know garbage time and stuff like that? You know, so that's where it really comes when you think about a trade for Donovan Mitchell, it would free up some roster spots, or not even roster spots per se. It would free up some players that we have the log jam at. So it all depends on who we're going to give up to free up some of this space for so these guys can get some minutes this year.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, Kevin Taylor, that's a great point, man. And I think that was the problem with Kevin Taylor put up there. And I'll get back to the thing. Like, if you got too many guys who shoot the ball, that was the problem with the Knicks this year when they brought in Kemba Walker and Evan Fournier, because we had too many guys who needed the ball opposed to the year before. Like I always said, we had Reggie Bullock and Alpha Payton who did something different than just score the ball. You know what I mean? And made the team better. And I think that was the problem last year with Kemba Walker, Evan Fournier. The only thing they could do is score the ball. And I think that's where the Knicks went wrong last year. Like, so Kevin Taylor, great point. You got to have the Dennis Robbins of the world, the junkyard type players, the players who not looking to score, but they can affect the game in so many other ways, whether it's rebounding, whether it's passing or playing defense. You know, you got to have a guy in the starting lineup like that. You know what I mean? Thankfully, we got Mitchell Robinson right now that could do that. You know what I mean? Because he's a center, and obviously he don't demand the ball in his hand unless you pass it to him. But that's why I want to see what the Knicks do with this thing, because I think the Evan Fournier thing wasn't a skill, it was his fit. Because and I don't know if you could put a Jalen Brunson, a Evan Fournier, a RJ Barrett, and a Randall in them. I think that defense is going to be a little like last year to me. You know what I mean? I think you don't change the game none just by bringing Jalen Brunson. You do on the offense side of the ball, Sharp Powers, but not from a defense side of the ball. We still going to be that same defense with Jalen Brunson. Only thing you taking out is Alex Burks and bringing in Jalen Brunson or Kemba Walker. But that two guard spot is still going to be there, and that was a liability, man. You know, Evan Fournier get you some steals off the pass. He might jump in the passing lane, but one on one, his man was pretty much getting past him a lot last year. And that not no fault of his own. He just never know. He was never known as a defender. I mean, you're not knocking him because that's not his strong suit. So when we say he's not a strong defender, nobody knocking Evan Fournier knows that. You know what I mean? He's just not a strong defender. That's not his game. You know what I mean? So I think that's why I like the other three candidates that we talked about, RJ, Quickley, and Grimes, because I think they can play much better defense and it shadows some of the Jalen Brunson. Not saying Jalen Brunson is a bad defender, he's not known as a good defender, as far as I know. So we'll see how that goes with that. But them four guys are interested in me. The one I think going to wind up, and so two of them I really think that might make that spot depending on what move we make. But it all might be irrelevant if they get down for Mitchell shot power. And none of these four guys, you know what I mean? It won't even matter because he'd be the starting two guard then.
Yeah, I mean, if the one of the biggest things is how we're gonna set this roster up. If we get Donovan Mitchell, we got a solid starting five unit. We got Brunson, Spider, RJ, Randall, and Mitchell Robinson. And I'm not worried about so much about how Brunson and Spider would play. You know, like I said, they may be small in stature, but they got big. They big and hard. You know what I
Fact,
mean?
fact.
And then you have to also take into consideration one of the two positions that we have that we are the strongest at this year is at the center position. So now with these two guys that you have that are short in stature may need a little help, but we got Mitchell Robinson down there to give you six fouls. And you know who followed Mitchell Robinson? Isaiah Hartenstein with another 6 fouls. And you know who follows Isaiah? Jericho Sims with another 6 fouls. So we're very strong at the center position, and we can play a little more aggressive defense to help these guys out. Since the quote out there is that they're smaller stature. These guys is no slouches. They're not bad defenders. They're just not as what we call a elite defender. You know, someone that gets 2.3 the 2.7, 3 steals a game, two, you know, a high and still percentage. Now, maybe, but these guys get out. These guys get after it. Both of them, Donovan Mitchell and Brunson. So with the center position being on lock the way we have it right now, I don't have a worry about people trying to split the defend. I mean, split the offense and split the defender and drive to the hole. Where we got three viable big men back there that can use up to 18 fouls in one game a night.
Yeah, real talk.
Right, there's 8, 6, 12, 18.
Yeah, because you're talking about team defense anyway. So you're 100% right. It's all about team defense. No one man make a defense that elite. You know what I mean? Unless you Bill Russell.
Right.
You know what I mean? But it's all about defense by committee. And I do think that what I like about this situation right here, because see, even though they short, but they all got good bodies though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Donovan Mitchell strong up in the build. Jalen Brunson big up in the upper body. So them cats can take blows and give blows down there. So I think they should be all right there if that was going to be. Steven, I agree with you, man. That's a tough situation, but I do agree that if you can get something special for that packet for him, then I would have to do it too. Because if don't get me wrong, if it's not him, you definitely got to move Fournier, because I do think that what's interesting to me is that might be the biggest move. If you don't move out, you don't move Randall, I think you might have to try to get Fournier out there, because like I said, you're talking about giving RJ some money pretty soon, and Donovan Mitchell already making $30 million. You know what I mean? And the lineup that I projected, earlier about a month ago, when the Donovan Mitchell thing started coming into fruition, I was like, I put up a chart up there, and the 5 starting guys, which would have been RJ Barrett, Donovan Mitchell, Jalen Brunson, Randall, and Mitchell Robinson, was a combined $129 million worth of salary money. That's in your starting lineup. And I projected that at RJ Barrett $30 million a year. So you talk about $129 million of starting lineup money. Then that's going to leave you about $21 million before you don't go over the luxury tax. So yeah, that's the reason why I can understand with the Julius Randle thing. But like I said, if this team stayed presently constructed the way it is, where we got Jalen Brunson at the 1, whoever at the 2, RJ, Julius Randle, the way he looks right now, looks very well in shape. Looks like he's so small he can go to the small forward. You know what I mean? So that's how small Randle looks, and he looks real in shape. And then obviously you got Mitchell Robinson at the top spot at the 5, and then we go onto the bench: Derrick Rose, Emmanuel Quickley, Quentin Grimes, Cam Reddish, Obi Toppin, Isaiah Hartenstein, Sims, McBride. I mean, right now the Knicks got 5 spots that they can open that's not open. That's open. Per Keith Smith, according to Keith Smith, he's a real excellent cat type guy on Twitter. Knicks got 5 spots that they can fill. Now, obviously, we know Farian Hunt and Keel. They going to be they 2 ways. So they can either be up here, and then you got 3 of them. They'll fill that in for that time go with this, if this trade take place. But right now, with the roster presently constructed, I still believe Knicks is some. I got him at 45 with the roster we have now. ESPN got him at 39. Somebody had him in the north of 40. But I think this with this team, the way they presently constructed right now, I think we got a lot of depth down there. And if these guys come back and had a better year than last year, then I definitely see the Knicks maybe bumping up to 45 win shot power. So the roster is decent now. That's why the Donovan Mitchell scenario is kind of crazy because, man, salute my brother Keith Turner, salute. But that's why it's kind of crazy with the Donovan thing because, man, we got a deep roster. You know what I mean? You're gonna see right now, but Bride and Sims might not play shot probably when it comes to rotation wise. You know what I mean? And Sims had a nice summer league. Look, he's starting to show improve a little more. So we're gonna see how it goes, man. What you think, man? This roster pretty much they got the talent, but whether you Mitchell or no Mitchell, how do you feel about this roster overall? Because I think we got a pretty good roster this year.
I'm without Donovan Mitchell right now. I believe we have a strong unit. We have another position that we really have on that's kind of solidified is the point guard position as well. Unbeknownst, we always talk about we haven't had a real starting point guard. Well, we have a very good, intelligent, facilitating point guard this year in JALEN Brunson, and we have two. We actually have 2 to 3 guys that could follow him up. But there's some moves that we still have to make, man, to release some of the pressure release some of the pressure before buses. And I without Donovan Mitchell, I think we have a good team. I think we run the Brunson, I'm gonna say Grimes now. Brunson, Grimes, RJ, Mitchell, and Randall, and then the second unit would be IQ, Fournier, Reddish, Obi, and Hartenstein. You know what I mean? I think with those 2 units, that could be a good start to a good starter unit and a good follow-up unit. And we use Derrick Rose and Sims just in case, break glass if needed. And I still think we have about $6 million or so in, veteran minimum or whatever money that they call it and stuff like that. And we could probably pick up, one more guy and bring one of these guys up or get 2 more, 1 million, 2 million players and stuff per play, 2 million per players. So we have this unit that I have now without Donovan Mitchell, where I have is 42 to 47 wins. Like I said, I give it a 5-game window. But with the unit that we have constructed right now, if they ran the unit, the 2 units, like I just said, I think we could win 42 on the low end and 47 on the high end.
Yep. Yeah. Real talk. Hey, Keith, I'm 100% agree with you as well, brother. We do have to do that. We're going to have to. That's why, it's interesting to depend on who they had to give up. Now, I have to keep coming back to this because here's why. You could bring in 1 player in Donovan Mitchell and it could relinquish 3 players.
Right.
Literally, you could if the Knicks said we're going to go that route, they could relinquish 3 players, bring in Donovan Mitchell, and that way then you free up 2 roster spots. You know what I mean? And I think that's real important. So that is interesting because like everybody's saying, I think we all agree on this, that we're going to have to make some roster move because the wrong player might get left out and it's going to be disappointing. You know what I mean? So we got to definitely see how we're going to do this right here. And because like we said, we do got talent. And Wayne, what's interesting about that Wayne piece and the Ferry Hunt thing? Not because he's good as he is, but that's why what makes the Cam Reddish thing so interesting. If the Knicks not going to be able to extend Cam Reddish after this season, if they're not going to be able to extend him, then maybe they might say, well, we're going to put him in that trade for Mitchell because we can let Ferry Hunt get a chance to because they play the same type of game, same style. Ferry Hunt he's no Cam Reddish, but because we're going to be so talented at that position, you never know what happens. You know what I mean? And it's going to be real interesting to see what the Knicks do with that situation, Wayne. I'm glad you brought Ferry Hunt up because I think he's going to really, really have a pretty good year as well. He looks like he's a hungry. And matter of fact, I see him and Jericho Sims the other day, not to see him physically, but on Twitter at a workout session, getting their game on. So the roster's pretty interesting, man. We not going into the season real thin at all. We got players at every position in New York this year. Whatever you might disagree with their skill set, but I think we got a talented group of young men down there. And I think this year Randall's going to be better. I think RJ's going to be better this year. Damn, if Fournier be still, I think he's going to be better. I just think this team with the acquisition of Jalen Brunson, Shot Powers, it just makes this team so more cohesive. They got a floor general, you know what I mean, who can get buckets when he need to. Remember, y'all go look at Jalen Brunson in the playoffs, and that speaks for itself. Numbers don't lie. Jalen Brunson was putting on Eastern Conference contenders last year in the playoffs. You know what I mean? So, the cat ain't like he no scrub. You know what I mean? And now that he's really going to be the main guy with the ball instead of Luka Doncic, I think it's going to be even better for him. You know what I mean? Now you might see his assist numbers go up. You might see, because now he don't have to, he's the one controlling the game. And I'm really excited about him, man. So I think the Knicks team going to be north of 40. I think we're going to be a pretty good team this year. Real talk, but real quick, though, salute to the chat, man. Stephen, Wayne, Keith, Julian, everybody, man. Yeah, make sure y'all hit that like and subscribe button. Run them up with the thumbs up. Tell a friend. Knicks Real Talk. We in the building. Let's get it. Divine, Shot Powers, salute to KJ events, man. But I'm excited about the season. I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, the Donovan Mitchell news is back out there. But before we get into all that, let's talk about the season coming up, man. We got 4 preseason games. That's gonna be on the doctor. That's gonna be interesting. We playing three preseason games at home, and one of them gonna be on the road in preseason. I mean, so it's gonna be fun, And I think when preseason starts October the 4th. We'll be versus Detroit. Detroit Pistons, young up and coming team. Actually, they got 3 of our players from the Knicks. Alex Burks coming back in the building. Noel coming back in the building, and maybe Kemba Walker coming back in the building. They don't buy him out by then. So we're gonna have 3 guys that was on the Knicks last year coming here. Obviously, with the Jaden Ivey that we all wanted in the draft, going to be there as well. So that's preseason. Should be fun, man. We got some salute to them cats, man. They helped us get to the playoffs that year. So salute to Noel, Alex Burks, and guys, man. They'll be back on the 4th. Then on the 7th, of October, the Knicks play Indiana in the Garden preseason. That should be pretty fun as well. And looking forward to see what they're gonna do down in Indiana. They got you're gonna get to see your boy Ben Mathurin. He's gonna be in the building. Duarte, all these guys gonna be in the building. That should be a fun preseason game. Then they go on the road back to Indiana the 12th to play Indiana again at home and preseason. Then the finale gonna be which gonna be fun. October the 14th, the Washington Wizards bring in Bradley Beal, just got that max 200-something million. Kristaps Porzingis gonna be in the building. They got a pretty good team. Will Barton went over there from the Denver Nuggets this year. They still got Kyle Kuzma. They're gonna be a pretty interesting team. I want to see what they're gonna do with that team in Washington this year. They're gonna be a pretty interesting team there, man. They even in trade talks with Donovan Mitchell about them in Charlotte. So it's gonna be interesting to see what they like. But they're gonna have a pretty good team as well. I'm dying to see what they're gonna do there, man. But the season's gonna be fun. And then we know on Christmas Day, the Philadelphia 76ers, Joel Embiid, James Harden, gonna be in MSG on Christmas Day. That's gonna be pretty electric, man. I'm gonna be up in the building for sure. I already got this figured out. Christmas Day, I will be up in the building on that game, and obviously, the opening game on October 19th is the opening game. And I think the Knicks gonna be down to Memphis. So and they haven't put out the full schedule yet. I haven't received it yet, but when I do, you guys know it from here. But I'm really interested to see what's gonna pop, man. Salute to my man Will, salute my man. Good to see you. Shot Power, but I'm looking forward to the season, man. The schedule gonna be fun. I think it'll be a fun season in New York, man. I think it's gonna be beautiful.
Yeah, I just hope we don't have a killer lineup like we had last year, where we just had to play hard every time that we got on the court. I hope we have a little less. I hope we have a lot more under 500 teams than we do above 500 teams like we had last year. This way maybe we can make a little foothold somewhere and get a couple of wins together where we can stay ahead instead of playing from behind. So that's one of the things that I hope, that we don't have that anything like we had last year, the way we played our 82 games last year, because at some stretches that we had like 7 games with top 500 teams and stuff, and then we play a under 500 team, then we play three teams that are over 500, and stuff like that. So I hope the way it's scheduled this year, we have a little I know we're going to have a hard stretch, somewhere in the first half and in the second half, but I hope it's not as hard stretch as it was last year. Last year we had we played like 7-8 teams that were over 500 in a row, and then another 4 or 5 games, and we go 2 or 3 games. Then we have a West Coast swing, and we're playing LA, the Clippers, and all the good West Coast teams at once, you know. So I hope we have a little easier. I don't want to say easier season, but a little more regulated season than we had last year.
Yeah, real talk. Hey man, that second half of the season, that February schedule,
Woo,
man. I'm like they threw it on the Knicks last year, bro.
man.
They had threw it on us, and we had went 8-3. In one stretch at 11 games, we went 8-3. But when we got to that February schedule, that's when the bottom fell out almost. You know, we was up 20 points on the 28 points on the Lakers, come back and lose. We was up 20-something points on somebody on Portland, come back and lose. I was like, but I think that schedule was tough, man. But salute to my man Jarvis. Salute. Listen, Frank and Jarvis, I don't know what happened to the Met game. I know we was losing 3-0. Y'all fill me in, but Atlanta put a whooping on us last night, man. And tonight, I know it was 3-0 last I knew, but salute to the Mets and everybody. All our baseball teams struggling right now in New York. But, getting back to the thing, man, I think the schedule is going to be pretty interesting to see. I can't wait till it come out, but I'm excited about what to bring. But Nick 100, I do think that Harkenstein going to play major dividend for the New York.
iHeart ain't going to play no games.
Yeah. iHeart going to be a major. I just want to get that out there because I know Nick 100 put up there. Yeah, iHeart going to be tune in, man. Tune into iHeart Radio, man. He's gonna be getting popping this year for the. I like his game, man. I like his defense. He can shoot the three ball pretty decent. I like his passing at the top. So it's gonna be pretty fun. Yeah, you're right, man. That Portland game killed us, man. Anthony Simons lit us up. They didn't even have Damian Lillard. That was the game that kind of threw me for a loop as well. Nick 100. That Portland game last year was something. And
that LA game killed me.
Facts. But yeah, man. But hey, a 2023 season gonna be different. Looking for different results. Let's hope that we can bring this 15-man roster together in the next month, get in the training camp, get it popping, and just see the Knicks go at it, man. I wish I could be in training camp somehow, some way, because I know there's going to be some battles going on up in there. Like I said, we already know the point guard spot solidified. We know the center spot solidified. Right now, the power forward and the small forward, we pretty much know that's solidified. That two guard going to be interesting for the Knicks, whether it's Donovan Mitchell or not Donovan Mitchell. That two guard spot in New York going to be the biggest competition in training camp. You know what I mean? I just think it's going to be between Grimes, Quickley, Fournier. Even if you had to move RJ there, like we talked about early in the show, that two guard spot in New York going to be the one position that I think is not solidified yet in New York. That one position. You know what I mean? Go ahead, brother.
All depending on if that two guard, if we get Donovan Mitchell or not. That's going to make a big difference. If we get Donovan Mitchell, I see some players move, and we still may have to pick up. If we get Donovan Mitchell, I believe we keep Grimes, and I think he'll be the two-man coming off the bench. But then we will have to get a third player to fill that situational, that situational spot in the third unit. And just like if we, even if we, I went to later to say that for the point guard, because we actually have a couple of point guards that we could play, but we have to figure out what we're going to do at that shooting guard position, and we also may need another small forward, or it's a couple of positions that we definitely need to get additional men. Like the power forward, we only got Julius Randle, we only got Obi Toppin right now. For the small forward, we only got R.J. Barrett, and ideally right now Cam Reddish. So those positions only have two men. We don't have that third situational player on the bench if something happened to really back these guys up. Aside from Farian Hunt, that's in the G League, that we could bring up real quick. If we need someone, but we don't have a backup power forward. Nowhere in a G League, we don't have a power forward, and we only have two power forwards right now, which is Obi Toppin and Julius Randle. So that's another position that we need to solidify. Get some rookie minimum guy out there, $2 million, and can help us hold that position down right there. But aside from that, man, we have a pretty good, strong roster, man, and as we get longer into this conversation and stuff like that, I'm going to throw some trade opportunities out there. And don't kill me with what I say, Knicks family. I'm just making ideas. I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's what it's all about, man. But, like I said, man, Hey, we only can do what we do, but we know what the Knicks gonna do what they gonna do. And I think right now, so far, you asked me, the Knicks did a pretty good job, man. This team moving forward got not only the team but the organization moving forward. Like I said, man, these cats got 22 draft picks.
Stefan.
They
Talk
got
about it.
Evan Fournier and Derrick Rose, $30-something million about to expire. And they got movable pieces. These guys can play. And I think real quick, because Nick Hunter did put his name in, and I want to bring that up. You can even, the way he played in summer league, Jericho Sims, you can even make him a power forward when he need be. Because he showed me some things in summer league that he could put the ball on the floor. So granted he's not a great shooter, but just for to hold it down for a minute, I like with the young man, his maturation to his game, man. That's another thing, man. This cat only going to his second year. Jericho Sims in 2-3 years from now might be gonna be special. He's gonna be another good player. So I think the good thing I'm happy about so far is that the continuity, the camaraderie is all there because these guys played together last year.
Facts.
They coming in the training camp knowing each other's tendencies. Only one got to get acclimated so far is Hartenstein and Jalen Brunson. Everybody else been on the squad. They know how each other get down. They know they've been playing together. So that's what I like about what they did with Mitchell Robinson right now, Randall and RJ. Them cats been playing together for the last 3 years. You know what I mean? Are they going to the fourth? Believe it or not, Mitchell Robinson is probably the longest tenured Knicks. He's going to his 5th year.
Sure is.
So and I see my man Mitchell Robinson working out, running on the beat, talking about he want to be the fastest center in the league. He ran the mile in 7 point something minutes.
Yeah.
He said he want to get down to 6. But I'm see that's what I mean about the culture that Tom Thibodeau and them set, and him and Scott Perry and them. These cats is working. You look at every Knicks player on that roster. You've seen every one of them that I know put in work this year. Other than I didn't see Hartenstein yet, but all of them been putting in work though. So that's pretty impressive to see that they're doing that, man. They out there working in the off season just like everybody else to keep their game fine tuned and refined. So when they come into the season, they're not rusty and all that. And it's different than organized basketball 5-on-5, but the way they playing in the Drew League, the Brunson leagues, and all that stuff, and they getting some run. And that's good to see, man. So I'm really excited about what can be. It's all on paper. All the pieces got to come together. They got to get acclimated and everything. But once they do, I think Tom Thibodeau got a more stronger roster. And here's why I say a more healthier roster compared to coming in last year. Like I said, just to speak about Mitchell Robinson, Mitch came in last year because of an injury, like we say. He was out of shape. 9 months not being able to walk or do anything because your foot got injured. So for even him to have the season that he had, because he got much better in the second half because he started getting the stamina and his wind back. So now the cat coming into the season in tip-top shape, coming out the gate tip-top shape, and got a bag. So he's determined. He's feeling good about himself. And I just think this team will be better than people think it's going to be. Shy Powers. I think Mitch is going to be one of the better centers in the league this year. And I think having a guy like,
in the East.
Yeah, having a guy like Jalen Brunson to facilitate. Jalen Brunson is not Alex Burks. He's not Kemba Walker. I'm sorry. And no knock on them, but I'm talking about his facilitating game and what they could do, with this. And so I'm happy. Let's see how it goes. It's going to be the East is going to be tough, man. Trust me. From top to bottom, the East is lit. But I still think we'll be a better team than people giving us credit for. Because they people like all us in the chat and everybody who's watching the show, we look at the Knicks 82 games a year if we can. So we see things like a lot of outsiders don't see. But we also show that the numbers don't lie neither. So I think RJ Barrett's numbers is good. Shy Powers, I think Randall's numbers going to be good. I think Brunson, Mitch, and them, they're going to be a good team. Let's see how it goes, man. But I'm looking forward to the season, though.
Yeah, I just feel I'm hopeful that these guys percentage-wise, from their free throws to the field goal percentage, to the offensive and defensive rebounds are all going to be elevated this year. These guys have played together. Majority of this team has played together for 3 solid years and stuff like that. And these guys know each other's tendencies, So let's see where we can project ourselves with or without Mitchell, Donovan Mitchell right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hey, let me ask y'all a question. What game is y'all looking forward to this year, man? Everybody, what one game you really want to see the Knicks play this year, and what you looking forward to the Knicks doing, man? For me, wow. I want to say we did the Boston thing. I'm definitely looking forward to that Christmas game. But I'm also looking
definitely.
forward to Jalen Brunson playing Dallas Mavericks again.
That was what I was about to say too. That's gonna be a real big game right there. I believe so too, Divine. I want to see that game big time because Luka's gonna have a chip on his shoulder, and no question that Brunson's gonna have a chip on his shoulder. So that's one of the games that I look forward to seeing this year. At least 2 times this year. So I'm looking forward to both of those games.
Yeah, absolutely. It's gonna be fun, man. I think we get in. I think we, no matter what. Like I said, I had a north of 40. I had 45 wins projected for me. But now if you get down to Mitchell and you don't lose a lot, then that might creep up to 50. You know what I mean? Yeah. Game 1, Memphis Brunson. Yeah, that's gonna be crazy. That's gonna be crazy. That's the first game of the season right there. Will, that Memphis game. So it's gonna be real interesting, man, because you got some dogs out there in the league. Yeah. Hey, the Hornets gonna be tough, but the Hornets are good. It all depends what happens with Miles Bridges. That's gonna be something interesting too. Is he gonna be able to play it after this sexual assault thing? Let's see what happened with Miles Bridges, because he was one of their main dudes last year. But they're gonna be good though. But they defense got to get better though. That was the Hornets' Achilles heel is their defense. You know what I mean? They got good offense, but their defense was suspect. They couldn't stop nobody, and that's the reason why they didn't get to where they got to go. But they got a good young talented team. The Bulls gonna be tough. Nick 100. They brought in Andre Drummond. You know what I mean, the backup Vucevic. So they're gonna be a pretty tough out. You get a healthy Lonzo Ball come back healthy, and you already got Levine just got his bag. They're gonna be a pretty tough out as well. Raptors always gonna be a tough out. So it's gonna be interesting, man. Just a saw. I apologize for that, my man. I didn't mean to say that. I'm thinking of somebody else. Thank you, Fabian. Excuse me, Miles Bridges. I apologize for that, my brother. I didn't mean to say that. Real talk. I guess I'm caught up in the other thing with what's my man, the football player Watson. But yeah, thank you, Fabian, for correcting that, man. I appreciate you on that. Yeah, man. But depending on what happened with his situation, you got to see where the Hornets going to be at. But the Hornets are watching, trying to go after Donovan Mitchell as well. So we'll see how it goes. But I think we're gonna be there for the taking, man. We're gonna get it popping. I'm excited about our boys this year, man. I was excited last year. I think more excited this year because I just know at that point guard spot. I know Mitchell Robinson coming back healthy. You know what I mean? Out the gate. You know what I mean? We'll see how it goes. But listen, if we get this 7th, if we can find a way to scrap this team together and make them get to the 7th, 6th spot, we can avoid the buy-in. Just I think after the top 4, I really think after the 4, to me, the top shot houses, I give it to you, Milwaukee. Boston. I think you got to throw Philly up in there, and I think you got to throw Miami in there, and then after that, Cleveland or everybody else on down. I think anything can happen. If we bring our defense to the forefront this year, like we did in the summer league, then I'm really excited about our team. Our defense get up in the top 10. The Knicks defense get up in the top 10, and we shoot better percentage from the free throw line. I ain't got a problem with what we gonna do, because last year we could have won 10 more games. We shot 50% from the free throw line in some games. You race all that, we could have been probably in the playoffs anyway last year, around 40 wins, so 40-something wins. So I think we'll be able to repeat that.
Yeah, and we also got a closer this year, man. Let it be known that Brunson is a closer. Brunson is a big-time shot maker. He's a big-time player in the clutch. And coming down the stretch of games, he hits free throws. You know what I mean? So with just him alone, if we had him last year, we probably would have made the play-in this year. Last year or whatever that meant. If we would have had Brunson last year, we'd have made the playoffs last year.
Hey, cash out. Imagine that line. Imagine that game right there
with Donovan Mitchell.
With Donovan Mitchell up in there. I'm glad cash out. Think about that if Donovan Mitchell on the Knicks and RJ Barrett, Edwards, Mitchell, Rudy Gobert, and Mitchell Robinson, Randall versus Cat. Then you got Donovan Mitchell versus either Daniels or whoever going to be that, or D'Angelo Russell. Yeah, that'd be a pretty funky game right there, bro. Real talk. That'd be a nice game. So, but it's like sometimes you got to take everything in totality, though. You look at the games we lost last year and the way we lost them games last year, and like I said, sometimes you can say a team might not be that great, but also you got to look at why they lost and the reason why they lost. The Knicks to me was no different than the Lakers, a lot of other teams, not because they got the same talent, but what was important to their team, the injuries. Guaranteed you last year, if Nerlens Noel wouldn't have been injured, Derrick Rose wouldn't have been injured, and Kemba Walker would have gave us a better season, could contribute more, we wouldn't even talk about the Knicks had a bad season like that. We won 37 games and missed all 3 of them dudes. You know what I mean? So I just think along with the free throw shooting and field goal percentage, the whole team only shot 40%. They shot bad for the 3-point line last year, and the year before they was killing it. All of them was. You know, but that's why I think the mix-up of what they brought in here last year compared to what they had the year before with Alfred Payton and Reggie Bullock, I think the Evan Fournier and Kemba Walker thing flipped that. And I think that, so I'm looking this year that they can get back to what they do and get back to the defense-minded game they play, and they got a bunch of guys down there who hungry. You know what I mean? And I think they're going to be all right, Shot Power. So, but I'm looking forward to it, man. He's put up a shut up. Tom Thibodeau ain't got no excuse this year. Tibbs got to put up a shut up, man. That's my man too. But at the same time, the Knicks gave you what you needed. The Hartenstein situation. Yeah, I agree with you, Kevin Miller. With Mitchell, I can see that, brother. Where it's going for real. So yeah, I think he ain't got no excuse, but it's gonna be fun to watch this year, man. It's gonna be fun to watch.
As we get closer to talking about Mitchell and stuff like that, with him being on the team, it makes the team a little stronger offensively. Facts. I think I said it was 103 or 108 or something like we shot last year, but guarantee you with Donovan Mitchell on the team, our average scoring, our offensive output is going to be closer to 112, 115 points a night. You know what I mean? And if we can keep our defense in the top 10, yeah, we winning multiple games, man. We're gonna win a lot of games, man. If we could get our offense to top 10 in the league, you know, and holding opponents under 108, 110 points a night, I believe that with Donovan Mitchell, I believe we can score around 115 points a night, man. And that's what they tried to do last year when they signed Kemba Walker and Evan Fournier. Just the Kemba Walker factor didn't work out as well as it should have. You know, that, and another thing I talk about Kemba Walker, I wish Derrick Rose would have been there because it would have took a lot off of Kemba Walker, I believe, too, man. I think if Derrick Rose wouldn't have got hurt, I think Kemba might have had a little bit longer on this team. I think he went out, and that's when all the shenanigans and all the BS started happening with Kemba and send him down and all that stuff too. So
yeah. Derrick Rose was a big love because that means you took firepower from the bench with Alec Burks. See, that's what people don't understand. If Derrick Rose wouldn't have went down, you wouldn't have had to take Alex Burks off the bench and take that scoring off the bench and try to worry about some young guys, rookies that wasn't really ready to the fullest. Not that they couldn't contribute, but they like none of the rookies we had last year, other than Grimes, is Alex Burks or Derrick Rose. They just not in their professional career. But by losing Derrick Rose, to me, you took Alex Burks' strength away from what's off that bench as a shooting guard or whatever, and let Derrick Rose hold it down with maybe Emmanuel Quickley with the combo situation, whatever. And now when you lose him and Kemba Walker, I think that was a big loss for the Knicks, man. Right. People might not want to bear witness to that, but losing Kemba Walker, even if Kemba Walker could have played 60 games and gave us 12 points a game, he couldn't even play that. Imagine Derrick Rose went down December 8th. And he was shooting 44% from the 3-point line for the Knicks. One of the best shooters that we have from him and Grimes and Fournier. So when you lose Derrick Rose and you lose Alex Burks out of your backcourt, out of your not your backcourt, excuse me, your second unit. When you lose that many points off your second unit, what do you expect to happen? Because Derrick Rose was giving you 13 a game last year. Alex Burks gave you around 12 or 13 last year. That's 26 points off your bench you lost. And that was big for us. You know what I mean? That was big for us. You know what I mean? And then in the starting lineup, obviously, Evan Fournier didn't get a pop into the second half. So it was a lot of things that went into that, man. A lot of variables, but who is not really to say what happened, what couldn't happen. But I just think this year this team is more solid. And I'm really looking for them cats to get a popping, man. And I think they should be all right. Hey, Cash Out. I read that as well. I think, you know, it's out there. I mean, you know, but we're gonna wait and see, man. I still think this Donovan Mitchell thing might get done. My man Tone Wu, salute, my brother, salute, Tone Wu, what it do? My man, salute, Tone Wu, appreciate you coming in, man. Salute to the chat. That's where it's at. You already know, man. Make that like and subscribe. Divine, Shaw Powers, Knicks Real Talk. Let's get it. We in the building. Salute to KJ out there doing this thing. But yeah, man, I'm still optimistic about the season, man. You know, I'm a homer, but I'm a realistic homer. I deal with facts, no hyperbole. I try to break it down the best way I can to make sure that I'm not just saying the Knicks gonna be good just to be saying it. I try to back it up with facts and say, well, you know, this could have went this way, or if this wouldn't have happened, you never know what the outcome could have been last year. And I just think that we're gonna come back a little stronger this year. And I think these guys got more experience. The rookies that we had last year got another year under their belt coming in. They're gonna be playing better. I think Obi Toppin's maturation last year at the end of the season, him and Quickley, what they did. Knicks got it. And like I said, no Donovan Mitchell. I'm still not worried about it. I still think we won 40 games, north of 40. So we'll see how it goes, man. But it's a good thing, man. But the time is coming, though. The time is coming. It's almost approaching, ladies and gentlemen. We be ready to talk some Knicks basketball on a regular pretty soon, man. So we're looking forward to training camp coming up and get a popping shot powers. And I'm really excited about the New York Knicks, man. I think we got a pretty good team there. It's going to be a battle, but you know, if we play defense this year, we compete with a lot of people. Not everybody in the East play defense. Like I said, no matter how much talent you got, your defense ain't holding it down. Prime example was the Brooklyn Nets and the Boston Celtics in the playoffs last year. Yeah, you got KD and Kyrie, but the defense wasn't there, and you got swept. Defense won championships, and that's why Boston got close. And you see, you had the number one and number two defense in the NBA last year in the finals. Boston Celtics and the Golden State Warriors, but the difference was they had that number one offense, and the Boston couldn't do nothing with it. You know what I mean? So, you know, if Knicks can get back their defense, stance and do what they do and be who they are, I think we should be good to go. I really like our chances on there, Shop Powers.
Yeah, I do too, Divine. And as we talking about all of this stuff, man, what do you think about Donovan Mitchell, man, and how we can acquire Donovan Mitchell? What would you do, or if you were trying to make this deal happen? Who would you offer up for Donovan Mitchell? Chat, who would you offer up for Donovan Mitchell right now? Not trades, just players.
I mean, for me, what I would like to do, it would, you know, you also got to give to get, obviously, but I would say for me, and I'll explain my reasons why. Obviously, Evan Fournier, because you're gonna have to match, you're gonna have enough money to match that salary. I think Evan Fournier, and the only reason, let me reiterate what I'm saying, guys. The only reason I'm giving up Cam Reddish, and I don't want to give him up, is because do we think that one is the Knicks going to sign him, or are they going to extend him? You know what I mean? And if not, you throw in McBride, him, and Fournier, and five first rounders. I'm good with that. I think I could do that. Yeah, I agree with you. I'm with you, Cam. Cash out Fournier, Cam, and McBride would be it for me. He said Evan Rose and IQ. That's a possibility as well. The Derrick Rose thing is kind of interesting, man, because I think the Knicks probably would want to. I don't think he would be the end all be all. I don't think the Knicks would hold up the trade because of Derrick Rose, but I do think that experience that he has, that $14 million expiring contract, and what he could do behind Jalen Brunson in the playoffs. Because if you bring in Donovan Mitchell, you're gonna need some playoff caliber player. Because the Knicks ain't bringing in Donovan Mitchell just to win games. So having a guy like Derrick Rose backing up Jalen Brunson is big, and he's part of that family. They go back to Chicago, like I said, they go way back to Chicago. Jalen Brunson, that was like his mentor when Tiz was coaching Chicago. Rick Brunson, you know, my man Jalen Brunson went to high school out there as well. So it's a lot of chemistry and family there, and I think D Rose is that dude, and I think he'd be a phenomenal backup behind Jalen Brunson, Shot Power. So I mean, it's gonna be real interesting. I think he stays as well.
I mean, as you talked about, and I see in the chat about Derrick Rose being here and stuff like that. And I'm gonna explain the exact same thing. And please no tomatoes for me, because listen to me and let me finish before you throw the tomatoes. My as I just sat back and I'm sitting around and I'm thinking about it and stuff like that, I thought Danny Ainge may not want Cam Reddish. He wants Grimes, but we're not going to give him Grimes. You know, I think Evan Fournier, Emmanuel Quickley, and Obi Toppin would get us Donovan Mitchell. You know, without the picks. I think those guys, and the reason why I say IQ is because if we have Grimes and we have Rose, IQ is shut out of the starting lineup. You know, pretty much put out of the starting lineup, and Cam Reddish would also be in the lineup as well. So if we got Donovan Mitchell, our point guard position is solidified. It would be Brunson, uh, uh, D Rose, and Deuce McBride. That would be our three starting if we were to give up like the IQ. And for the shooting guard, it would be where we would need to make an improvement. It would be Donovan Mitchell and Grimes as shooting guard. We would need a third, maybe pick up someone to be in that third unit. And then the power forwards, we would have to, I mean, the small forwards, we would have to pick up somebody too, because we would keep Cam Reddish. So it would be RJ, Cam Reddish, and we would have to pick another guy in that position there. Giving up Obi Toppin would give us the opportunity to, and I don't know if they would trade Obi Toppin. I'm just saying, but listen to me as I say this. If we give up Obi Toppin to go along with IQ to Utah, they would at least have some, you know, they would be together. They're boys, they would be together, and they could go over there and play basketball in Utah. We would probably, more likely, about 99.8% of the percentage, I believe, if we trade Obi Toppin, we would get Melo. I think Carmelo would come back and back up Randall. And then we still are solidified with our power forward, I mean, our centers with Mitchell Robinson, Sims, and Hardenstein. So the reason why I say IQ and Obi Toppin is they make the money work. Obi is making about $6 million. Grimes, IQ, I'm sorry, Obi Toppin is making $6 million, about 5 point something million dollars. IQ is making about 2 and some change, almost $3 million. And Evan Fournier makes 18. That'll make it, if I'm not mistaken, $26 million plus whatever picks we give up. And I think that will release a little pressure off some of the guys that we have now. We don't have Evan Fournier. We would lose Obi Toppin, and we would lose Obi Toppin and IQ, but we would put our second unit guy would be Grimes now, the guy that they don't want to give up. We would have Brunson, and his backup would be D Rose. We would have Reddish now to see what he can do, and we would keep we would have Reddish, and we would have RJ, and then our power forward would be Julius Randle, and bringing Carmelo Anthony back to put him on that second unit. Now with the second unit, we have 2 veterans in there in the case of Melo, and we would have D Rose also in that second unit. So 2 veterans. Every time a team that succeeds to the finals and make a playoff run, they always have maybe one older guy that been going his whole series, his whole career, and maybe not received the ring and ends up getting the ring on a team that they kind of sit the bench. And this is like a scenario, a picture perfect story for Melo and D Rose. Could you imagine Carmelo Anthony and Derrick Rose playing, being on the court together on the same team? So that's something to think about.
Yeah, you know what's interesting to me, Lee, I think the reason why, you know, if we don't give up Fournier, you know how much money, how many players we got to give up to get to $30 million? And like a lot of our players are making like 10, 15 million. I think that right now, it's either going to be Derrick Rose or Evan Fournier. One of them guys got to go on that deal to kind of get close to that 30 million. You know what I mean? Because Toppin only, Emmanuel Quickley make $2 million. Grimes makes $2 million. These cats only make $2 million. They're on a rookie contract. So let's say you add up all the players that equal $30 million to get close, whatever. Let's say 25 million. Grimes makes $2 million. Quickley makes $2 million. Cam Reddish makes $5 million. That's $9 million. That was 3 players. Then you got to throw in who else?
Right. It's throwing Rose. Yeah.
Yeah. IQ. So because of their money is so low, like it's not going to get close to that 30 million. That's why you got to throw Evan Fournier or Derrick Rose in there, because that's 14 or 18 million. Now you could throw in maybe 2 more players to get close to that 30 million. I don't see how the Knicks gonna pull that off
if you do
without
D Rose
or Rose. You know what I mean? From a salary perspective, because we got to get close to that $30 million that we bring it back in from that guy. So I do think that's the reason why maybe the Knicks be like, listen, man, we give you Fournier because that's $18 million, or Derrick Rose hypothetically, but to lose all them young players, and what you're going to need them $2 million contracts. I'll tell you why. We're going to be over the salary cap.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be almost 150 million over the luxury tax, not the salary cap, I mean the luxury tax. Because you bring Donovan Mitchell in here with RJ Barrett's extension, his 30 million, Randall's 25 million, RJ Barrett, Mitchell Robinson 15 million, and Brunson's 25 million. That's $129 million in your starting lineup. 129 million for 5 players. So you're going to have to find a way to get some of that salary off. And I think that's where they're going to have to do the Evan Fournier thing. I think it's almost they're going to have no choice, unless you're going to gut out. If you're going to gut the Knicks roster for Donovan Mitchell, I don't think it's worth it. I don't. You know what I mean? The gut that whole roster. Obi $6 million, Quickley $2 million, Grimes $2 million, McBride $1.5 million, Jericho Sims $2 million, Hartenstein $8 million. You know, that ain't gonna get you no $30 million. You know what I mean? So we have to see how it go. But I think that you can also add the picks in there, because the picks is worth a couple of million here and there. But I would rather give up the picks than the players, because if you bring in Donovan Mitchell, you're gonna win all you want to have a deep team around you. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm for, like, listen, give them up the draft picks. You can always will and deal for draft picks, especially with Brock Aller down there. You right. Can next year you can say, listen, I can send Derrick Rose Evan for y'all for a draft pick or two, or do some wheeling and dealing, because they got 2 expiring contracts. One thing about Emmanuel Fournier and Rose going into next year, which is good, especially Rose, he got an expiring deal. And you tell me Rose can't help the Lakers? You can get the Rose to the Lakers for one of them draft picks from the Lakers. You know what I mean? I think the Lakers will give you that 27th or 29th pick for Derrick Rose in a heartbeat, because they know what Derrick Rose could do with a basketball, and he can help them contend for a title. So I think there'll be a lot of ways they can go about it. The thing, you know, that's the reason why I think they don't want to do that stuff, man. That's why they hesitant. I don't think the Knicks want to lose all that. You can't tell me Quickley not worth $2 million. He's worth way more than $2 million. You tell me Grimes is not worth $2 million. Grimes is worth $10-15 million by the end of the year. So you getting the talent like that on a $2 million deal. I don't know if the Knicks want to do that. Not from a business perspective. It wouldn't make no sense to me. But you know, I'm not the Knicks, so I'm not the one wheeling and dealing. You know what I mean? No, but it's gonna be interesting to see Shop Howard's. Yeah, I get it, man. Unless you got to get another team involved. But the thing about Fournier's contract, which is good, is movable though. You know what's interesting to me, Shop Howard's? Let's say if you did put Fournier or Derrick Rose in that trade, you know what Danny Ainge to do with them picks? They have flipped Derrick Rose and Fournier for a first-round pick or some picks. Quickly. So even if they took Fournier and took Derrick Rose, by the trading deadline, they will flip them dudes. Send them to somebody. They can send them to LA for their picks for that if they end up running. So that's why I don't think it should be a big deal to me with that, because you're not going to keep Evan Fournier unless you're going to keep him to fill out the salary on the roster for a year, because you're going to have to reach a certain level of cap money to have your team be able to be at a certain level of cap spending wise. So yeah, you can keep them that way, or you can say, you know what, I'm flipping you at the trading deadline for a first round pick or something. And if a contender desperate, they get Evan Fournier for a first round pick. He worth it. Or Derrick Rose. So the Knicks can still get their picks back, but they got a lot of picks to deal with. And I'll get them damn picks up in a minute if I can keep the Grimes of the worlds and all them guys. You know, it's here or there, man. It's a lot of ways you can go with this thing, but it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting, man. And let's see what Leon Rose and Brock Aller and Scott Perry don't come up with. You know, I know they doing their homework and they doing their due diligence and all that stuff. So we'll see. But salute to the chat though. Jarvis, Elton Lee, my man John. Hey John, you and Ron doing a great job down there.
For real, John.
Y'all flowers. Y'all keep the progression. Y'all keep the maturation, John. And salute to my man Ron, man, still Knicks fan. Y'all make sure y'all go check them brothers out down there on NBK. They be getting it popping. I'm loving what I'm seeing from you guys, but y'all keep up the great work. Real talk, man. Salute to the chat and everybody. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting, man. I'm excited to shop out one way or the other. The Knicks gonna be all right. They got a lot of assets in the chest they can wheel and deal with to get to where they want to go. So I'm happy about it.
Yeah, it is our wish, Elton Lee, that because I heard some, you know, I think that was one of the holdups. But you know, if we look at trying to move D Rose in the contract, we have to give up another 1 to 2 guys, and I'm not with it. I'm not with giving up Derrick Rose, Cam Reddish, Obi Toppin, Emmanuel Quickley, and maybe Deuce McBride. I'm not with giving up those guys to get Donovan Mitchell. It's no way that can happen, and expect that you get 3 or 4 unprotected picks. It's no way in the world that I can see that happening, man. So um, we got one thing I can say about this team in the last couple of years, man. This front office, I don't want to hear nothing about uh Leon Rose. I don't want to hear nothing about how the owner of the team is nothing. I don't want to hear nothing about. I don't even really want to hear much about this year about what Tom Thibodeau is going to do this year, because with a new arrangement of guys on his team, and it's not many substitutions that it's evident of who will be backing up who. So the minutes with Tom Thibodeau is going to be the big thing. Yeah, I would love to see these guys out here 32, 34, 36 minutes a game. But when you have a strong second unit this year, you do not have to spend these guys as much in the beginning of the season, to 32 minutes a game, 35 minutes a game. You can ease their minutes as the team gets longer into the season if need to. Some games, I believe the starter like Julius Randle, and this is another reason why I also said Obi Toppin. I don't think Obi Toppin is going to get a lot of minutes this year because of the way the team is fixated right now and with Julius Randle. And the reason why I say Melo is because what would you rather see? Would you rather see Obi Toppin getting 14 to 16 minutes, or would you rather see Carmelo Anthony get 14 to 16 minutes? That's how I'm figuring. That's one of the reasons that made me say Obi Toppin with IQ. Which would you rather see? Because me as a Knicks fan, I want to see Obi get 28 minutes a game next year. You know what I mean? I really would like to see what he would do if he was in the starting lineup, but I don't believe that's going to happen if we have Julius Randle. I believe Julius Randle is going to play upward of 30 minutes plus, or probably 30 minutes. So if you want to limit some of Julius Randle minutes, would put in Carmelo Anthony in there, I believe Carmelo would go 14 to 18 minutes a game, and Julius Randle would go 30 minutes per game, preserving Randle for game 67 of the year, where we're starting to make that move to see if we're going to make the playoffs. And another reason why the three-man guard lineup is a good thing: Brunson, Rose, and Deuce. I think Deuce can help. I think Rose will help Deuce get better so he could play more minutes, and we could preserve a little bit of Rose towards the end part of the year, instead of burning them out so early in the beginning the beginning part of the year. So we could kind of help limit him getting hurt. So these are the things that we got to look into and try to figure out. We don't have to figure out anything. This is what the front office has to figure out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, real talk. It's interesting. And Tom, you made a great point there. That it might drag out to the trading deadline, or you know what, Washington might swoop in at the last minute and find a way to do it. I don't think they got the picks to do it, but I don't know if Charlotte got the draft picks to do it. The Knicks probably in the best position to get it done. And it was interesting to me. It all depends what Danny ain't trying to do. If Danny ain't trying to replicate what he did with Boston, then I don't think he want the big contracts. He don't want the long year contract. If he's gonna do what he did in Boston when he traded out all them players and got all them draft picks, then he drafted Tatum, drafted Brown, drafted both Williams, drafted all these guys. So Danny Ainge might be like, listen, I'm gonna do it the way I did it in Boston. I'm gonna tear this thing down. I'm gonna build it back up. That day, and it seems like that's what he might be doing to me. It's the reason why you want all these draft picks. You know what I mean? You don't want all these draft picks to take on a long-term contract. I think Danny Ainge going to do exactly what he did in Boston if he's going to rebuild. If he's not going to rebuild, then we're singing a whole different tune. He might can go after the Randall contract and the Fournier contract. But I think if he's going to do what he did when he was in Boston at the KG and Paul Pierce and all them guys, he got them out of there. Danny Ainge brought in my man from Butler, Brad Stevens, a rookie coach, drafted a bunch of rookie players, built that thing from the ground up, brought in Kyrie Irving down the line, brought in this player down the line. They turned it into contenders. And I think that might be Danny Ainge's outlook. He might say, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do like I did in Boston. That's why Utah probably brought him in there. You know, Utah brought Danny Ainge there for a reason because he's good at doing that. You know what I mean? Utah didn't get nowhere with the team they had for 4 or 5 years. They didn't get to where they want to go. So they probably feel like it's time to tear it down. And I think that's where Danny Ainge comes in at. You know what I mean? He got a good deal for Rudy Gobert, which I just think damn, how he fleeced them. I don't know how he fleeced them was with that. You know what I mean? So he might be looking to do the same thing. We'll see. But no matter which way it go, Donovan Mitchell or no Donovan Mitchell, I think the Knicks going to be a good team this year. And he ain't the only thing to happen. Now, if you don't even trade with Donovan Mitchell, you like you said, you never know what happened at the trading deadline. You know what I mean? You never know. It might not be Donovan. It might be somebody else. You know what I mean? So it's still options out there. But I do think this thing might get done. It's just too much smoke out there. You know what I mean? It's not, to me, where there's smoke, there's fire. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of smoke about this thing. So we'll see Shot Powers and all that, man, chat. But without Donovan Mitchell, it doesn't matter to me. I think the Knicks going to be good. And we'll see how it goes and all that good stuff, man. But I think the schedule should drop tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully tomorrow the schedule drop, the whole schedule. We got a glimpse of what's going to go on Christmas and opening day and the preseason. We know you're going to be seeing Brunson going back to Dallas that sometime in that span. We got James Harden and Joel Embiid coming to the Garden. You know, it's going to be fun. We in Memphis on the 19th. So we won't be able to get to that game, but we get to the one on opening night in Christmas. I will be up in the building for sure, man. It's gonna be fun. But listen, man, we're gonna get out of here, man. Get it popping, man. We got things to do, and let me put this out there for my brother. Cause I probably won't see y'all. We will not see y'all till after probably that. But I just want to salute to my brother Shot Powers, my man. Congratulations to you and your beautiful wife to be Cheyenne Powell, man. I mean, love is in the air, man. That's real talk, man. Ain't nothing like having that person next to you to help guide you through the things you got to go through and be there for you. So congratulations to you. Tell my sister Shab, I'll see y'all Saturday. Everybody in the chat, throw my man a thumbs up. Shab Powers about to tie the knot on Saturday. And my brother, well deserved, man. Salute, congratulations to you, my brother, man. And holler at us, man, before we get up out of here.
Divine, much love. I see you over the weekend and stuff like that. Salute to the chat. You know what I mean? It's always great to just sit here and talk Knicks talk with the family and stuff like that. Salute to all the guys in the chat. The chat is where it's at. Fast. And once again, Divine, salute to you. Salute to the chat. Let's get it.
Yeah, real talk, man. To the whole Knick Nation, wherever you at out there, man. Keep supporting us. I think the orange and blue, you're gonna be nice here. We're gonna be all right, man. I think Knicks will have a pretty good season. I'm looking forward to the everyday battles. But first and foremost, salute to the chat. That's where it's at. Without you guys, I know it ain't no Knicks real talk without y'all, man. So, that's why we up in here. And salute to everybody where you streaming in from, checking out the brothers, man. Seeing us drop this content and this knowledge. You know what we doing, man. We just trying to get it to y'all, man, and keep everybody engaged and keep the family together, keep the Knick Nation growing and all that until we get popping in October. But y'all enjoy the rest of your week and all that good stuff, man. And y'all be safe out there. Y'all know what's going on in the world, man. Y'all just be safe out there, protect yourselves, and do the right thing, man, and stay humble. And like I said, man, we see y'all in the next episode. And salute to Margaret for coming in. Sorry y'all caught us on the end of the show. Salute to Margaret coming in. Everybody else.
Matrix, I'm sorry.
Everybody, man. Cash out. My man Tone Wu, Garden Knicks podcast.
Yes, sir.
Brother up. Y'all go ahead and all these content creators, man. Support all of them. All of them, man. Support all the content creators. Because you know what? We here trying to keep our family blessed, man. Knicks will keep us together. You know what I mean? And it's all good, man. Y'all enjoy it, man. Like I said, you go ahead, Jarvis. Hey, Jarvis, I gotta give you flowers, man. Braves got us 2 games in a row. I can't be mad at that. But hopefully we got Jacob DeGrom running tomorrow and Matt Scherzer we can rebound, hopefully. But it's been a good year, man, so far. But I'm looking forward to the season. And y'all be safe. Knicks Real Talk, Divine, Shaw Power, salute to KJ and Vince out there. And
yes,
until the next episode, man, we'll see you cats and ladies and gents. Y'all be safe, be good. Peace. Time for Divine Shot, KJ Events. This Real Talk's the brand. You understand how we do, my man. I'm on that Friday night Knick shit, dripping in Knick shit. Up in the world, most famous arena. With the click, that's the conglomerate. Knicks Real Talk, the real prominent. I'm a bit like the Omicron variant, dominant. Paying homage to the cat in the chat. That's where it's at. I'm hearing that, you don't can't fly hyperbole, we straight facts. We interact with the mob and God. Up in the pod, the squad, with the side. My entourage be on the job, my energy. Feeling tripping in 10 boots as they cook my game plan and my brand for loot and pursuit. Going hard like the New York City gritty committee. Cause that the Knicks ain't always pretty, but we all stay giddy. And we embrace the fan base like the late Anthony Mace. We trace the logo when there's space that appear like Squarespace. Staring down on the Chase Bridge, look at that Knicks City drip. The city decks on the court, looking pretty legit. I say true to the orange and blue. I thought you knew for him a few bars to shine like stars divine on Mount Mars. Knicks real talk. Here we go, let's go.
Knicks real talk right here. I'm representing
Knicks real talk.
right here. Let's get it.
Here we go, let's go.
We here in the building.
Knicks real talk.
Let's get it.
Here we go, let's go.
Yeah, for real. Yes, sir.
Knicks real talk.
We here.
Here we go, let's go.
Let's get it. Let's get it. Yeah, for real. Yes, sir.
Let's get it.